Hello everyone, my name is Estela Gutula and I'm Head of English here at Wellington College. And today I would like to talk to you about what we have on offer for sixth form English. There's going to be quite a lot of information here today, so if you have any questions afterwards, please do not hesitate to get in touch. So for English, we offer three different strands. There's A-level English, there's IB English Literature at standard and higher level, and then there's IB Literature and Performance, which is a standard level only subject. And it's actually 50% drama, 50% English, which I'll explain in a moment. In terms of A-level English, this is perhaps our most challenging course. It's an in-depth, narrow, but highly specialized study of a range of English heritage and some contemporary literary texts from different genres. In terms of the examining components, there are 4 papers. There's paper 1, drama. The second paper is prose. Then paper 4 is actually the coursework, which is a comparative essay. One of the texts gets taught in class. So for example, this year we've taught Arcadia by Tom Stoppard and pupils have gone off to find a text to compare with it. So just to give you an example of what the drama paper looks like, there's a textual, critical and contextual analysis of the Shakespeare play. Currently we teach Othello and that's been very, very popular, but in the past we've also done Hamlet. And the second question is a textual and contextual analysis of a modern play. So there are few marks available for this question here. Currently, A Streetcar Named Desire or The Importance of Being Earnest. Both of them go down really well with our pupils. Paper 2, the prose paper, is actually a very challenging paper, even though it only presents one question on a comparative task, comparing the 2 novels. The use of context in this paper is really, really sophisticated, and I would say this is probably just as challenging as answering on Shakespeare in the drama paper. So currently, like I said before, we're doing The Handmaid's Tale and Frankenstein. Paper 3, poetry, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's a long exam. It presents us with a choice of Chaucer or the Romantics or Keats, like I said before. So that's a pre-19th century poetry, engaging with their text and context, and then contemporary poetry, where students write on an unseen poem and they compare it to a poem studied in class from the Poems of the Decade anthology. No context needed for the contemporary poetry. The fourth element of A-level English is the coursework, and I would say this is perhaps the one piece of work that will probably grind you down the most, but you'll be so proud of it at the end when you see the finished product. But just to give you an indication of how it goes in terms of grading, to get an A star, you need 58 out of 60 marks. That's a real tough call. Okay, so very, very challenging work. Moving on to IB Literature. So IB Literature is actually a new course. This is the current lower sixth are going through it as the second generation, and the upper sixth haven't yet completed the full cycle. So it's still very new to us. The first paper is an unseen commentary. So you get a choice, if you're higher level, you get a choice between 2 extracts that you've never seen before, and you answer one question. For example, how is the character of X developed in this extract, or how is the theme of Y analyzed in this particular extract. So the extract could be from any kind of literary genre at all, so you have to prepare your unseen skills quite carefully during the course of the 2 years. The second paper, paper 2, will only happen for the lower sixth in the following year because of the changes to the syllabus for 2021. But it presents us with a choice of 1 out of 3 general questions which encourage you to compare and contrast 2 texts you have studied. Then the third component of the IB is the oral, which is an individual recording of you and your teacher in a one-to-one conversation that lasts 15 minutes. And then higher level only have the coursework essay, which is 1,500 words on any topic from any of the books studied, obviously with guidance from the teacher. But again, it's a challenging piece of work, but it's also a very individual piece of work where you can explore your strengths and interests. The main differences between higher and standard level are there are 5 lessons per cycle at standard level and 7 at higher. The material covered, 9 texts at standard level and 13 texts at higher level. The coursework at higher level, obviously, I've just mentioned the essay, is an additional feature for higher level. And the weighting of the components, as you will see. So as you will see here, in a normal year, so this year the upper sixth, it's all very different, so it doesn't count. But in a normal year, the paper 1 for standard level is 35%, paper 2 is 35%, the oral is 30%. Very different weighting from higher level, where you've got 35% for paper 1, 25% for paper 2, 20% for the coursework, and 20% for the oral. So for the higher, the weighting is spread out a little bit more. There's higher stakes in place for standard level. So standard level studies 9 works, like I said. At least 4 must be written originally in English, and at least 3 must be in translation. Works must be selected to cover 3 literary forms, 3 periods, 3 countries or regions in at least 2 continents. So quite a broad range even for standard level. Higher level, at least 5 in English and at least 4 in translation. And then you've got to cover 4 literary forms, 4 periods and 4 countries or regions in at least 3 different continents. The other feature of the IB that's very different from the A level is that it's not really taught around the papers that I've just outlined for you. We actually teach it in terms of key concepts, and we follow sustained lines of inquiry. So we focus on identity, on culture, on creativity, on communication, on perspective, transformation, representation, rather than today we're going to work on paper 1, today we're going to work on paper 2, like we do with A level. It's much more conceptual, and it's more complicated than this, but it will make more sense once you're in the classroom. In terms of the global issues which you will choose from for your individual oral, these are the 5 areas, and out of these 5 areas your class will focus on 1 or 2 of them for specific texts that you're studying, and then on a different set of them for another text that you study, and then for your oral you choose what you're really interested in. All of them obviously very conceptual, very, very broad, but you zoom into them through the text you study with your teacher. And I should also add at this point that every single IB class will have a very different selection of text to study with their teacher. So just to summarize the difference between higher and standard level, because I get the most questions in terms of sixth form English, these are the questions I get the most often. So both of them have a broad range of texts, authors and cultural perspectives. They both engage with a full range of literary forms. So prose, poetry, drama, graphic novels, song and opera lyrics, really, really wide. You won't get that in any other English course. At higher level, 13 works, including 4 in translation. At standard level, 9 works, including 3 in translation. Another thing that features in IB that's a new thing this year is the learner portfolio, where you do brainstorms and you draw and you respond creatively to through mind mapping and all kinds of other visual reflections to the text you've studied. So at standard level, there's no coursework. At higher level, there is coursework, like I said, and you've got the difference in the number of text studies and the lessons, of course, as well. Another IB option we offer, it's only for standard level, this one, is literature and performance. Now, as I said earlier in my presentation, this is 50% English literature and 50% drama. Now, the papers are not divided into drama and English papers separately, but they combine the 2 skills. And I think a lot of pupils will take this option because they'll think it's the easiest of all the IB options. And actually, if you're not a confident speaker or you're not a confident performer, you won't find it so easy actually after. In terms of the internal assessments, you've got your written coursework, which is a drama exploration, essay and reflection on the individual performance of different extracts you've studied in class. A more serious performance, a much heavier weighted, is the performance and oral presentation component, which is 40%, for which you actually have to get on the stage. So it isn't just a little extract you've performed in class and you've analyzed it properly in your essay. This time you're performing on the stage as part of a group. It's a formal performance which gets filmed and sent off to the IB. So in conclusion, time, effort and commitment are more demanding at A level in terms of long term, even if the pace appears slow. You've got to revise everything by the end of the 2 years and be prepared to respond in exam conditions on any aspect of the material you've covered. 3 different papers and coursework. Really challenging stuff if you've got to, it's 2 years worth of skills and material. IB higher level, however, may look like it's not in so much depth, but it's faster paced, it's more independent, which can come with its own challenges in terms of how you are as a learner. The more independent of you will do better than the ones who need more guidance. So you've got to think carefully about this option. But it's also modular, which means that if you've done your best in a module, you can move on to the next one without having to worry too much about revision as such. The only exams you really do in the year 13 in the upper 6th are paper 1, the unseen, and then paper 2, for which you do revise, but we teach that quite close to the exam. So the choice you make is a matter of personal preference and of a long-term or university or professional relevance. So here you have to be guided by your tutor, also speak to your GCSE teachers or to peers you have in-house. Another thing that's worth remembering is that 7 or above at GCSE does not guarantee a 7 or A star at IB or HL or A level. If you still can't decide, like I said earlier, do talk to your English teacher for advice, do speak to your tutor, do speak to sixth form students in-house or friends that you have in the sixth form, and obviously drop me a line as well or come to see me if you need more help. Thank you for listening.